Hi, I'm Theresa Harris. I'm the director of the AAAS Center for Scientific Responsibility and Justice, and I get to welcome you this morning. So welcome, and thank you for joining us for this conference on scientific evidence and the courts. We started planning this conference last year when we realized that the 30-year anniversary of the Daubert decision was upon us. If you don't know what that is, you will by the end of these 2 days. That Supreme Court decision established a standard to help judges determine whether scientific expert testimony should be admitted as evidence. It's actually much, much more than that, but that's your introduction. One of the briefs cited in that decision was written by Richard Meserve, representing AAAS and the National Academies of Science. So we have a vested interest in that standard here at AAAS and with the National Academies as well, in making sure that the principles behind that decision are actually being implemented and having their intended impact. Over the years, AAAS has hosted a series of successful initiatives built on the understanding that there are interlocking needs and challenges at the nexus of science and law. The judiciary needs accurate, accessible, and actionable scientific information. Those needs have inspired basic and applied research at the intersections of science and law. I think that maybe some of my predecessors some of us in the room, were hopeful early on that projects that would connect judges with scientific information, like the former AAAS court-appointed scientific expert service, would meet the needs, and that would be that. That project, judicial briefings, convenings of experts on emerging fields to make recommendations on when advances in science and engineering were posing legal challenges. What we have learned over the decades from that work is that the problem is not so simple. These initiatives all laid a foundation and all have had an impact, as well as many other complementary projects that have been going on alongside this and around the world. And yet, in many ways, they're only a starting point. The real challenges that underlie that are the tensions between the ways that scientific research and applications are achieved and communicated, and how the legal system works. Rules and procedures that make it difficult for judges to access scientific experts. Many judges and lawyers see scientific evidence as a niche area. It's a specialized field of expertise that only a few lawyers need to have. And very few scientists and engineers are skilled at explaining complex research methods and their findings in ways that are relevant to the legal system. All of those past successes of AAAS's projects in science and law, and those of many of you who are here today, whether we got there intentionally or not, were the result of easing those tensions between science and law with a combination of scientific excellence, communication, and collaboration. Those are our guiding principles for the dialogues today and tomorrow: scientific excellence, communication, and collaboration. And those are our guiding principles for what we expect that we will all take home with us at the end of this meeting. And it's what you're going to see from AAAS in the coming years. Convenings like this one, focused dialogues that unpack challenges and identify potential solutions, multi-stakeholder working groups to move those solutions forward from idea to practice, judicial education on an expanding range of scientific issues, professional development for scientists and engineers in science communication tailored for legal settings, and experiential education opportunities for graduate students in law and science and engineering. So with those guiding lights on the horizon this morning, scientific evidence, communication, scientific excellence, thank you, and communication and collaboration, I want to thank our collaborators on this conference, the National Academies Committee on Science, Technology, and Law. You'll hear a lot about their absolutely essential contributions to the field throughout this conference. Thank you also to the National Science Foundation Science and Law Program and the National Institute of Justice for their support, Thank you to the American Bar Association, Science and Technology Law Section, and the ABA AAAS National Conference of Lawyers and Scientists, which has been a valuable collaboration for many years now. And thank you to all of the organizing committee members. It's been a real privilege to work with you and learn from you as we identified the priorities for this conference and thought through how we would attempt to unravel them all. And thanks to you online, here in the room, for your active participation, collaboration, and sharing. Here and online, together, this is an incredible gathering of expertise and experience across science and justice. Let's not miss this opportunity where we're all here in the same place and time thinking about these issues to build the connections and spark the ideas that are necessary to work on the solutions to all these challenges we're going to talk about over the next 2 days. I'm not saying that you are signing up for a working group by being here, but I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is speak up, ask questions, share your thoughts and ideas during the formal sessions, during the breaks, because we are a conference. The point of a conference is not to have a conference. The point of a conference is to get everybody together, and although the catering is going to be fantastic, I'm sure, and we're all going to have great conversations, the purpose is to get us all out of our offices and sharing the research and ideas that are going to move everything forward. So, and help us solve these challenges that we can take back to our own personal spheres. So, let's go. I also, this morning, get to introduce the Chief Executive Officer of AAAS, Dr. Sudip Parikh, who is a real leader in connecting science and society. With 2 decades of experience at the nexus of science policy and business, Dr. Parikh became the 19th Chief Executive Officer of the American Association of the Advancement of Science, AAAS, and Executive Publisher of the Science Family of Journals in January 2020. Before that, he held senior positions at DIA Global, a neutral multidisciplinary organization for health care product development, and at Battelle, a multi-billion-dollar research and development organization. From 2001 to 2009, he served as science advisor to the Republican leadership of the U.S. Senate Appropriations Committee, where he was a key legislative liaison to the research and development ecosystem on the front lines of many science policy issues debated during that time, and that some of you have litigated since. His work has been recognized with multiple awards and honors that you can read about in the speaker bios. If I were to list them all, this introduction would be longer than his remarks, I fear. So please, Sudip, you have the floor.
Thanks, Theresa. We got to shorten that bio. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to AAAS. Thank you for being here. In my role, I often get to speak at the beginning of important meetings where important conversations are going to take place and important activities are going to begin. And a long time ago, I got advice about how you do that. And one of my mentors, she told me that, if you have that opportunity, it's a responsibility. You have a responsibility to be profound because you're taking up valuable time at a conference like this. And then she looked at me and she said, Sudip, you're not going to be profound. And so then you have a responsibility to be informative. Give them something to chew on, give them information, give them data, give them something that can be valuable in their deliberations. And then she said, and if you can't be profound and you can't be informative, then you better darn well be brief. And so I'm going to try and do that this morning. What I really hope to get across to you is that this conference is an important milestone. It's such an important milestone in the ongoing dialogue between scientists and the judicial branch. I have seen this as being a key part of how we make progress in the world today. And this is the 175th anniversary of the AAAS, and we've been celebrating it this week here in the building. And it brings to mind for me that we are at a critical juncture. We're at a critical juncture. On my best, most optimistic days, I see science and its collaboration with other types of expertise, being able to heal the sick, to feed the hungry, and to protect the planet, and to bring a little joy into our lives. But on my worst days, And on my days when I wake up to political news, or I wake up to the reality of where the world is, I think that even science and the joy that comes from it isn't going to be able to make the world a better place. But then I realize that organizations like the AAAS, like the National Academies, like the ABA, and the people who are gathered in this room and online are the ones who are going to be able to bend that arc and make it better. And I'm not saying it won't get worse. I'm not saying it won't get worse before it gets better. And I'm not saying that there aren't challenges. But if you look at that history that Theresa laid out, you see that it takes a small group of people influencing, bringing their energy to the fray. And so that's what this is about. And so I really want to thank you for joining that fray. For the next 2 days, you're going to work together, take on difficult challenges involved in scientific evidence and expert testimony in the judicial system, the past, present, and future, and sharing research, resources, and solutions to help the scientific and legal communities work together. And our aim here is to have these conversations in a way that recognize the different types of knowledge and respect the different perspectives. And I appreciated Theresa saying that many of these efforts boil down to lowering the tensions between scientists and legal experts and judges. And I appreciate that very much because I'm married to a lawyer and I'm a biochemist. And so I've been working on reducing those tensions for about 25 years now. We are grateful to the organizing committee that put this together. This is not just a AAAS activity. This is an activity of the field. And I do want to make sure I recognize that.